There is something very extraordinary in the human history that happened at a very specific time, at a very specific location, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it happen in a manner that has been recorded through authentic eyewitness accounts. There is no event like it. And the event that I'm talking about is the first revelation that came to the Prophet ﷺ, as we all know, in the cave of Hira. If you go to the cave of Hira, there is a hidden aspect, a hidden physical aspect of that cave. Not so hidden in the sense of hidden from the eyes, but it's hidden in the sense that few people think about it. I spent a night in that cave in 1998. The cave was formed centuries before this event happened. We don't even know when. But the cave is such, the hidden aspect of that cave is that it is pointing toward the Kaaba, and there is a triangle space, a small place in the cave through which always cold, soothing wind comes through into the cave. And in that hidden place, there is this beginning of the Qur'an that we now all hold to be the Alpha and Omega of our deen. I want to talk about the aspect of the Qur'an that some of the Sahaba were continuously doing. And Sahaba like Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu anhu and Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, they were devoted to the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will recite it day and night. And when they will finish it, as much as the Qur'an was revealed, they will start again. The hidden mysteries of the Qur'an, Imam al-Ghazali, several centuries later, he said that the Sirrul Qur'an, the most hidden aspect of the Qur'an, is that it is the invitation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to all of His creation. And he said this aspect of the Qur'an is the deepest aspect of the Qur'an, and the invitation is to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In order to come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you need a path to go. Therefore, He sent prophets. And in order to reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, once you reach there, you are either to the left or the right. So he said the hidden, most secret aspect, themes of the Quran are Tawheed, Risala and Ma'ad. The first is the invitation, the second is the path to go, and the third is what would happen once you are there. So I want to share with you some of the one thing specifically about the practice of the Sahaba when they recited the Quran over and over, beginning to the end and then starting again. They were discovering new facets of the meanings of the Quran. And there are certain ayahs of the Quran, if you recite them over and over, you would see that they become a sort of deeper and deeper in terms of their meaning. For instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about Bani Israel. Ya Bani Israel is a phrase very specific in the Quran that occurs many times, but when each time you recite it, you discover that Ya Bani Israel is addressing a different aspect of the history of the children of Israel alayhi salam, which is Yaqub alayhi salam. These Yahudis, they are the children of Yaqub alayhi salam. So Ya Bani Israel, until you reach the stage when you see that there is actually a charge sheet in the Quran about the Yahud, and then you start to number them, and the Sahaba and the later scholars have numbered them. There are 25 specific charges on the Yahud in the Quran, starting with Ya Bani Israel in Surah Al-Baqarah. So the practice that Sahaba had is not so hidden practice, but the benefits are hidden, meaning we gain depth by repeating and reflecting on what is said on a given topic in the Quran. Each of the topics of the Quran, everything in the Quran has a zahir and a batin. And the batin is layered, and is layered according to the receptivity that we have and the tazkiyah we do of our nafs, and the ability to see the depth of the meaning successively, in the sense of gaining more and more clarity, because ultimately it is the clarity of the heart which is the receptive place of the Qur'an that gives us the ability to bind with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at those deeper levels. Because again, Imam Ghazali said that you can't, what you receive in the mind does not move your limbs. In order to move your limbs and stand Qiyamul Layl and do your fasting and stand in the middle of the night and talk to your Creator, the limbs move with the energy generated in the heart, he said. And the energy is generated in the heart through this connection that is almost hidden from the surface, because this is an invisible connection with the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the practice of the Sahaba was to receive the Qur'an as it was being revealed from the Prophet ﷺ, take it to their hearts, and then process it at several levels, including the intellectual, but most importantly, including the spiritual level, which gave them the power and the ability and the actual moving of the limbs. So inshallah, this will be beneficial in this month of the Ramadan of the Qur'an to practice deepening our understanding of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through repeated recitation and deepening our and tafakkur and tadabbur on that aspect of the Quran.